It's March. Free agency's in the book. The draft hasn't quite happened, but it's a show. It's a show for rankings. Quarterbacks, running backs, all of them in between. Let's get it rolling. Yo, what's happening, everybody? Too Much Fantasy Football coming at you. Your two hosts, Brian and Brennen. I came to him this morning and said, Brennen, it's time. We got to give the folks a rankings episode. He said, Brian, it's too early. I'm like, no, it's way too early. But that's what we have to do. We're going through the quarterbacks, top, maybe 1 through 20 here, putting them in tiers, figuring out where these guys are going to be going in 7 months when we draft them. It's early, but hey, it's always a good exercise, right?
I mean, if you're listening to us, you're just a degenerate just like the rest of us, so.
100%. You've probably been waiting for this episode for a month now, so if anything, we're late to the party on this one.
Yeah.
A quick bit of news here as we're getting rolling. We have seen Cincinnati. The cash is a-flowing. I thought Mike Gesicki getting paid was a sign that maybe T. Higgins would get moved. Nope. They just waited till the last freaking second. T. Higgins finally signed. Jamar Chase finally signed. And could you imagine if they did this 7 months sooner, how much more money they would have saved?
Oh, I think they said it was like a saving of like $25 million like in total each year.
Oh yeah. Crazy amount of money.
So I mean, I understand no, actually I can't, because you should have paid Jamar Chase when he said, I just wanted a little bit more than Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
The T. Higgins one, kind of you should spread that money out elsewhere. But now that, I mean, their offense are going to be putting up like 70 points, but still lose because their defense can't stop a nosebleed. So this will be interesting.
So we got Joe Burrow at 55 mil. We've got Jamar Chase at 40, and then T. Higgins just shy of $30 million. I don't know. I mean, there obviously isn't another team that has that much money allocated to 3 players. Like you said, we've got no defense. The game plan is just going to be to score 70 points, right?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of reminds me of like the early Colts days with Manning, Reggie, Marvin, when they did do something similar to this. The only thing was that we drafted really, really well in defensive. We hit on Robert Freeney, Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis, Bob Sanders.
Sanders, baby.
Yeah, there's a reason why we won that Super Bowl, and it was because we drafted super, super well. So the Bengals really have to literally hit every pick on the head on the defensive side.
And Reggie Wayne made like 40 mil over his career. Jamar Chase is pulling that in every year.
1 year, yeah.
I was actually doing a little research to see which players didn't even make $40 million in their career. It wasn't as an interesting list as I thought, but guys like Arian Foster never even broke 40 mil for his entire career. Just wild stuff here. I'm pretty excited. We're going to jump into the tiers. We're going to start off with quarterbacks, roll into running backs, but I'm really excited to see where does Joe Burrow sit with the signing?
Yeah, I think this will be interesting to see where we decide to put him at.
So it's pretty easy. If you've never seen tiers, if you ever set up rankings, stuff like that, it's easy to go rankings, guys top 1 to 24, 1 to 36, whatever you're doing there. But I really like to put guys more in buckets, put them more in groups, because when I'm drafting, I don't necessarily have to have, I want Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow. I may be able to take one of both of those. So if I've got 2 picks, maybe I'll trade back a little bit because I'm okay with either of these. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing here, grouping these guys into what we've got as top end QB1s, probably like top 6-ish QBs. You've got your QB1s that won't be elite, but they'll still be top scorers. You got your fringe guys, your fringe QB1s, QB2s, your streamers. They've got their place, but you don't draft them, and then the dumpster fire. The Aaron Rodgers, whoever may fall in that one. QB1s, there's only a handful of these top elite guys, ones that you really feel really sure about. Go ahead and give me your first one, Brennan. Who deserves to be up here?
I mean, it was the rookie of the year, man. It's Jaden Daniels. I mean, it's so hard not to put him in QB1 after what he did this last season. So I think there's no argument there for either of us.
So CJ Stroud did not finish as a top 5 his rookie year, but finished as a QB1. We were drafting him as if he was a top 7-ish QB. Is there any reason to think that Jaden Daniels shouldn't finish as this top hype?
No.
Should there be worry there?
No, his rushing upside is elite. He's when you're sitting there getting 50, 60 yards and he's getting a rushing touchdown and throwing for 200 plus yards and a touchdown. Yeah, it's a wet dream for fantasy football.
Yeah, that's the part you're looking for, folks. That's the huge difference between Caleb and Jaden Daniels is the rushing floor that you get. Even if he goes out there and has a bad day with his arms, his floor, the feet keep you from killing it completely.
Yeah.
Well, then you're probably going to see a trend here in this first tier, this QB1 tier, because I've got to put well, he should have been the MVP, but he was the runner-up. He was the guy, the MVP 2 years ago. Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to come back. Second year in the system. I think the passing touchdowns have to come down a little bit. He was on an unreal rate, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe he stays as consistent and as effective as he was. That running game should still just, be just as good with Henry. Bateman's stayed healthy. Zay Flowers is a pivotal piece in that offense.
Just signed a Hall of Fame wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, God. I didn't want to have to dig that deep. But yes, they typically grab one of those old and busted wide receivers.
No, I agree. Lamb Jack is definitely in that top elite tier. You definitely want him. You're very happy with him when you walk away from the draft because you just know that whenever he plays, it's so much fun to watch him play too. On top of that,
yeah, for sure. All right, give me one more. Who else we putting up here?
I mean, it's the great white hope. It's Josh Allen, man.
It's got to be. It's got to be. His finishes over the last several years are ridiculous. Yeah, maybe he's not finishing absolutely number one every year for a while, but he's still up there in the top three.
He was one 2-3 years in a row, and then he finished last year as 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just barely fell out of there all day, folks. Especially for it's the consistency that he gives you too. They continue to sign wide receiver 3s. So, it just kind of cements him in as his rushing ability. His fantasy finishes since his rookie year finished 8, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2.
It's pretty good.
It's not too shabby. Not too shabby. Dynasty owners are definitely thrilled with Josh Allen. Alrighty, I've got another guy that needs to go in this tier. I think we still have a couple more to go.
Okay.
We throw Jalen Hurts up, Super Bowl champion Jalen Hurts. That offense is coming back. I mean, they're losing pieces on defense, but that offense is locked up. We got the 2 receivers. Tight end, we might lose Goddard possibly, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's detrimental to the offense. Tush push, it's going to go up for review, but I still think he's going to get at least 4 to 5 rushing touchdowns even without the tush push. And then, his receiving options are unreal.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the back end of this QB1 list because I think we both have Jaden, Lamar, and Josh ahead of him. But again, you're still very happy walking away with Jalen Hurts just because, one, they somehow magically always get tackled at the 1-yard line, and then it's Jalen Hurts' time. And how many touchdowns did he have last year? It was over 10.
I believe it was 13.
Yeah.
That's what he had.
So it's absolutely crazy that the fact that he is always getting double-digit touchdowns with his rushing and throwing, he's even if they take away the tush push, he still can get it done with just him pushing the ball. I think people forget that this man is massive, very, very strong. So I don't see an issue with them still getting yards, even with him just being a QB rush.
Yeah, 14 rushing touchdowns, 15, 13, and 10 going back his last 4 years.
Yeah. And not all of those are on the 1-yard line. I would say maybe
80%.
Yeah. I do know he's had a few where he's just walked in as taking off. So again, that's the thing you want though out of your quarterback. You want him to be able to roll out of the pocket and just gain yards by just having free roam. So
100%. All right, so we've got 4 guys in our locked in top elite tier. Do you have any more to go up in this tier?
Oh man. I want to put him there, but it's just what he did last season was nuts, and they just brought back everybody. I'll put him in there. It's Joe Burrow. They're gonna be throwing the football because they have no defense. This team has to play catch up, just like what they did last year. There's nothing I look at where I'm they definitely fix things. They're gonna have a really good defense. I can't And having T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow is the very last one.
Notice he is the only statue quarterback as well. The rest of these guys have rushing upside, but he's in a unique situation. I think there's a couple other guys you could almost make the argument for that could be in the softer side of this low-end Joe Burrow tier. But right now, Joe Burrow not only is going to be an elite offensive playmaker, but you're putting that together with the poor defense. The fact that he's not only going to be able to score because his offense is good, but he's going to have to score even more because his defense is bad. And that's where we see these pocket passers jump into the top 6, the top 8, and they become, great steals. We have it just about every year. These piss poor defenses come through, and a quarterback that's willing to put the team on their back.
I almost wanted to tell you we should just make a Joe Burrow tier, like right underneath this, just 'cause I think it's very fair, and because I don't know what to do with him.
If we broke this into like a 7 to 8 tier system, he probably would be sitting between tier 1 and tier 2.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
I think he is above the guys that we're about to talk about, but not quite in this one. So
yes.
We're put an asterisk by Joe Burrow. So we're gonna go ahead and lock it up, though, right? This is where we're good with our elite tier.
Yep, I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Sweet. Alrighty. Well, this is the guy. Another statue guy. He runs a little bit, but I almost want to put him in there. His second wide receiver re-signed. His rookie sensation will have to come back and be sitting in the 3 spot. But I think Baker is as fringy as it gets for that elite tier this year. I'm ready to roll it back. I'm pretty confident in a tier 1 or a QB1 tier for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, it's crazy because when you look at the other quarterbacks and you're just like, it's tough not to put him in that just because, one, all the weapons are back. Jalen McMillan is your wide receiver 3s, that outstanding because Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are there. It's like I was going through the rankings. I'm like, man, he has to be a QB1. There's other names that are next to him. Like I feel more comfortable. Like it's crazy to say I'm feeling comfortable walking out with Baker Mayfield as my QB1.
Yeah, and at this point, it's kind of dumb on us if you don't.
Yeah.
2 years ago, it looks great. Maybe it was a fluke. No, he doubled down last year. Like, he's having career years here. And I mean, granted, his career was all over the place for the first 5 years. But these last 2 seasons in Tampa, he has found his match. And funny enough, it's with the head coach. I can't believe it's still the head coach. Not that he's not a bad head coach. He's just a defensive-minded guy, and we've seen him kind of bounce around a little bit. So the fact that he's gotten stability after Tom Brady left and being able to hold on, Tampa's looking pretty good as far as coming off that Cinderella-type Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Baker's going to be on his 3rd offensive coordinator. That's another thing, too, we've had to mention for Hurts. Hurts is going to be on his, 5th offensive coordinator?
5th in 5 years, I think, something like that.
Yeah, something crazy like that. So, kudos, and these guys just continue to hang around and just show that it's not about the play calling, it's them on the ground. So, and another thing about Baker, too, is that here is a little bit of rushing upside. He does actually get out of the pocket and get you some yards. So, it's not like he's a complete statue. He actually has a little bit of mobility.
Yeah, and it's that scrappy style, too. Like, he'll be fighting for those, maybe to pull into that touchdown to get that first down. Like,
yes.
Yeah, he goes out there and he's effective when he does it.
Yeah.
All right, next up in this QB1 tier, who do you have?
It's really weird that he's not in the tier above it because he's just, in our eyes, he's already going to be a Hall of Famer and he has only played 7 seasons. It's always welcome to the Chiefs land for AFC Championship game. It's Patrick Mahomes, and it's really weird putting him here. It's really weird putting Mahomes not in the top QB1 tier, but
it's really weird not putting Patrick Mahomes in the next tier down, if you ask me.
Oh, wow. I'm not that much of a hater. I acknowledge that because at the end of the day, though, it's going to be a second year of Worthy. Rashee Rice is going to miss a couple games. They just signed Hollywood Brown. The running game's going to be a little interesting. I think Mahomes is going to have a little bit better of a bounce back year. I think we'll start not 50 touchdowns, but 35 plus. I expect to see that around there. And he actually is mobile.
Oh, yeah. It's just man, that's the hard part with Mahomes is I like him in this tier and a super flex as your second quarterback. If you've got 2 great, it's the consistency. It's the top end play. Where he's finished. Last year he's finishing 7, 12, 17, 11, 30, 15, 16, 20, 14, 16, 25. That's how he finished the season. That's not necessarily winning you a championship with those type of numbers. He's finishing what did he finish this past year? 11 overall. It's not bad. It's top 12. It's what we're making the tier of.
Yes.
but he's just barely there. Had he missed games, he wouldn't have been there. So it's not necessarily his play there. It's just like he's doing just enough. And I guess I won't argue that he doesn't belong in this tier. I guess I just didn't want to say him next because there's more guys that excite me in this tier that I'm willing to take at his ADP.
And I just think that this team has also got depleted on the defensive side. Like, they lost a good amount of, and their defense was elite last year. So Mahomes didn't have to do a whole lot. Now Mahomes probably have to do a little bit more than he did last year.
But he's going to have to do it all because, hell, 2 of his receivers might be in jail by the time the season starts. Good Lord, get those guys out of Texas. What in the hell?
Hey, Worthy's innocent. Rashee Rice is innocent until proven guilty, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, right. They're guilty of being a dumbass is what they're guilty of.
Hey.
I want to talk about a year 2 player. I think this guy easily slides into this QB1 slot. His ADP is going to be particular for me because he's a scary one, but he's a guy that's mobile, and he's a guy that gets it done. Bo Nix. Bo Nix, folks. This is a team that added Evan Ingram. They are going to continue to add pieces in the draft. I imagine a day 1, day 2 running back's going to come to this team. Bo Nix has to be in there. I think he's just over that fringe player because of the rushing upside he gives you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't think that this guy would be this effective his rookie year. I don't think anybody honestly did. Anybody's watched college football and watched him at Auburn, and he had a special nickname there. It's just weird that he's actually, is it Sean Payton? I don't know. But he did a very, very good job last year, and we have to acknowledge it. And he was very underrated running the football. That was the crazy part. His rushing was super underrated, and went I couldn't believe how many yards he'd get per game. They added weapons. I do think there might be a little bit of regression towards him, but I also think it's more so that Sean Payton's going to get a running back he really likes, and that could be more of a focal point. So that I'm not knocking Bo Nix this season as a fantasy quarterback. I just think there might not be as much work for him running because I think Sean Payton will definitely get the running back that he really, really wants.
Yeah, and I want to get him at the right price. I want to get him at the lower end of this QB1 range if I'm taking him.
If I see 10 quarterbacks on the board and Bo Nix is there, I'd be like, all right, I'll take him. I just don't. I can't, for whatever reason, it just feels weird taking him as my the top 10 QB. I just can't do it, but he does belong there.
I'm taking him over Patty.
All right, no, I can't do it. And it might be the right pick, but I just can't do it, Pat Mahomes.
All right, give me your next. Who you got?
He's kind of been on a struggle bus lately, but man, when he's on, and I it's Kyler Murray, dude. Kyler Murray still, just because of the rushing upside, and another year with Marvin Harrison Jr., I have to put him as a QB1.
I agree, but I don't like it.
Yeah, but it's just it's hard to not sit there and take him as a QB1 just because that there's how many weeks last year was he a QB1? So it was a really disappointing season for Kyler Murray, but I think he had a few good amount of weeks where he did finish as QB1.
Yeah, overall he finishes as the QB10 on the season. You had QB1, QB5, QB4, 10, and 4.
Yeah.
The rest but within that you had a QB 24, 25, 30, 23, and 22. So it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It is It's all over the place. But not many guys average over 20 fantasy points in their career. That's
exactly.
One of them.
Yep.
Alrighty, next up, wow, this one's gross. But I would take him in a draft every day over Patrick Mahomes because I know he's going to get drafted way after him because he's probably not going to finish the whole season. But let's talk about it. Let's put him up here. It's the Jets' new quarterback. It's Justin Fields. The dude is a stud on the fantasy field.
Awful quarterback. Very, very good fantasy quarterback.
But that's not the tiers we're making here, folks.
No.
We are making fantasy football quarterback tiers here, and Justin Fields deserves to be looked at as a top 12 per game player. Am I sitting here beating the drum that he's going to get 17 weeks in and you're going to lead you to a championship? If he plays 17, absolutely. we don't know all that. They could draft somebody still. He could get benched, but when he's on the field, he will average the points that he needs to take you to a championship.
If I draft Justin Fields, I definitely need to draft another quarterback, and I hate doing that strategy, but just because it's like one of those, like, I don't know if he'll play all the games, and I want to make sure I lock up somebody that I just like, it's safe and sound.
And you might not even have to draft anybody. Matt Stafford's going to go so low, and I love him this year in fantasy here, at least as it's looking right now. You know, as far as like a streaming quarterback, I think he's going to be a great guy that you plug and play. Dak Prescott's probably going to turn into a streamer this year. Justin Herbert, I'm not sure where he's going to land ADP-wise, but he might be in that fringe mix. Geno Smith, you know, like there's going to be tons of options, but if you want to swing for the fences, Justin Fields is a bat that you use to swing for the fences. Sorry for the baseball reference, folks. It's horrible. I'll take it back.
Oh man, I think my next guy's still a QB1. It's Jared Goff, man. I get Ben Johnson is left. I get that, you know, there's uncertainty there, but the weapons are all there. The offensive line's still there. The running backs are still there. The wide receivers are still there. I mean, and he's going to play in a dome a good amount of times of the year, so that's all he does really well. So I think Jared Goff is like, I don't know where you are on that, but I think he's kind of like the very fringe last QB1.
I would have him probably in the fringe tier. I would probably have him tiered down.
Okay.
I would take Patty over Jared Goff, though. I guess I'm pessimistic for Jared Goff and this Lions offense. I still think that they're going to move the ball. They're going to be successful, but the play calling is going to be different, and I think the running game is going to be the highlight, as it was last year. But I've never been a Goff guy. I don't want to be negative. I haven't tried to be negative about him for the last few years, but like, there's a reason they moved on from the Rams. He's not winning you games. Can he win in certain situations? Absolutely, but like, he's not putting on a cape for my fantasy team.
No, but like, he's putting on a cape for the Lions because he doesn't need to be that guy, though. I mean, he just needs to be what he is, a point guard for the system, and it works really, really well. He finished what? Like, he had to be QB1, not QB1, but he was like what, top 10?
Yeah, he finished 6th last year.
Yeah, I think he'll finish as QB 11 or 12, and I think that's still QB1 for me.
Alrighty, and I don't think at this point in time, I don't think I have another guy I feel comfortable putting in this QB1. There's a few of these statue guys after the draft I think could be eligible to put up there, but I think I'm okay moving on to the next tier if you are.
Yeah, I think we can sit there and go back and forth on a couple of guys and be like, oh, but the numbers, and it's just like, no. Hey, hold on one sec.
Yeah, we need more pieces of this puzzle to truly understand what we're doing here. So let's go to the fringe list. We're going to start picking this up a little bit, going more rapid fire style. So first one I want to throw out there is going to be Caleb Williams.
Yep, I agree.
Very excited, but also I'm going to be a little skeptical with this offense as well. It's still the Bears. They have history on their side. Just screw it up. But this offensive line looks great. There's awesome weapons between DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. The running back, they're probably going to add somebody to DeAndre Swift, but Roshan Johnson's there. So give me Caleb Williams, who has the mobility and the playmaking skills to take that step up. But I think he's a safe fringe guy.
I think he's the biggest gamble this year for fantasy. Because he had a bad last year. He got a great play caller on the offensive line. They actually fixed what they needed to fix in this free agency or offseason so far. And he has great weapons. And I think they will be drafting Genty or Amari Hampton with one of their top early picks. And this offense could look elite. And Caleb does have a little bit of rushing upside.
Mm-hmm. He does.
So yeah, he's gonna be one of those guys where like if I do punt on the top guys, I might be taking a lot of Caleb in my drafts.
Yeah, he'll be in the mix of guys that I want to kind of shoot the shot for that can outplay or outperform their ADP.
Yeah, I think like me, if I had to look back on it, like I'd probably take him over Jared Goff, but that's just because it's more upside.
Yeah,
like the upside is tremendous with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I hate to say Goff doesn't have a lot of upside because yes, he did finish 6th last year, but like it's not a sexy 6,
It's not a sexy 6, but it's also a very safe QB1. I think he'll have a lot of weeks where he finishes as QB10, QB11, and that's what gets the job done, though.
Yeah, for sure. It comes down to how that looks. He finished QB4, 4, 10, 1, 6, 2, 3, 8 to finish out the season with those last 4. So it can be done. Next one, who we have?
Next guy is Jordan Love is my next one.
Jordan Love. You think he's going to stay healthy, or do you think he's going to be outseeded by his backup? Because, what's his name? Malik Willis had a better record than him.
No, too much money invested into Jordan Love that they can't do that. He's the definition of bipolar quarterback, where you just don't know what week you're going to get out of him. Are you going to get a week where he throws 350 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions, or are you going to get 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and 200 yards?
He's the perfect example of the beauty of rushing quarterbacks. If he had a rushing floor, it wouldn't be as detrimental. Otherwise, he has to play like Joe Burrow each and every week for him to pay off.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next guy I want to throw up there, I was really hoping they're going to make more of a splash in free agency. He was going to get more weapons. If he does, if they can get him another great wide receiver, I really think Herbert actually could be the next tier up. But at this point in time, because of what he's sitting with, I'm going to put Herbert as that fringe QB1, QB2. Good team around him. There's a lot of plus things, a lot of exciting things. This will be year 2 in the system. A lot of growth there, but Justin Herbert lands as a fringe guy for me.
No, I agree. I think with them not getting Chris Godwin like a lot of people thought, or trading or getting Devontae Adams, just like everyone had the Chargers slated as like getting a guy in like the X, and they didn't. And
maybe timeout. Mike Williams wants to jump in here.
Yep. Anyways, like I said, they need an X wide receiver. I saw a mock today from Daniel Jeremiah that Terrell McMillan was going to the Chargers, and I'm like, that's kind of an exciting pick. So
because he can do everything QJ can, including catching
football.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Can you do that? This is where it gets interesting for me. Because I'm like, I can say a name and it's kind of like controversial, but like he's always just been that way. It's Brock Purdy, man. Like, it's really weird. Like, he's got a little bit of rushing aspect to him. He's got a great coach behind him. Decent weapons. He's very safe.
He rushed for over 300 yards last year. That was a big 5 touchdowns. That was a big piece to like him saving his season because his wide receivers did not want to help his season at all. So yeah, I think Purdy's got sneaky upside as far as a fringe guy.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, we dock him every year about this time of year. We don't get excited. It's the Cowboys. It's Jerry Jones' own doing. But this guy is probably going to be a quarterback 1 if we're being honest.
Yeah, he's probably going to be the one that everyone's, sleeping on. And then he always finishes probably at QB12, or maybe a little bit higher. Like, he's currently on my rankings, QB20. And I think it's kind of an insult to him. So.
What else you got?
I mean, another name for me out of this, like, man, it's when he plays and he's healthy, and that's the only part is that he's not healthy all the time. It's Tua. He's got the weapons. Devon Achan's in the backfield. He's catching it's so hard when you look at this and like, I get it. Concussions are scary, but I really like him as my super flex as my QB2. I would be pretty happy. So,
would you say concussions are cringe? Is that too much? Yeah, it's too much.
Yikes.
Too much, folks. Yeah. The fear that Tua gives me, though, I want to drop him another tier. I want to put him in that streamer tier because of that. But the guy led the league in passing yards just 2 years ago, So, like, the skill there and the things that worked, but it's how this offense gets to operate with the fear of the interceptions. I'm going to put Trevor Lawrence up here. When you've got one of the best wide receivers in the league on your team, it's hard for him not to be up here. Liam Cohen's coming to the system. I hear he's not going to be doing the Duval thing during practice, so hopefully they can focus on the offense. I think Lawrence has a chance to fight as a QB1 this year.
Yeah, I think he's in that contention. I think Liam Cohen's a good play caller. Hopefully they get a second wide receiver on the outside of Brian Thomas Jr. So it helps Lawrence out. Hopefully they figure out the running game because is it going to be ETN? Is it going to be Tank Bigsby? We don't know. And also Lawrence has a little bit of rushing upside to him. He's not just some statue quarterback. He actually can move.
Awesome. Do you have anybody else that lands in this fringe category for you?
There's a guys that I could say, but I also see them more so as streamers. Like, I don't know if, like, I think they'll be there. Like, I want to say, like, a lot of the QB, like, Drake May could possibly be, but I could see him more as a streamer. So I'll probably put him as a streamer. I expect a lot out of Drake May. I think he's going to have a great second year. I don't know where you're at with him, though.
I'm excited for Drake May. It's that ADP that I'm really excited for. Do they add any offensive weapons here? Cooper Kupp was, I think, the last little bit of hope for them to really grab a wide receiver. Yeah. So May, Young, Stafford, these are all going to be streamers for me.
Yeah.
I think Darnold has the possibility of giving that to you. Where do we put Richardson? Actually, I don't
He's a
even want to
streamer.
talk about him. Is he a streamer?
He's a streamer. You can put
Folks.
Daniel Jones next to him too if you like. He just everyone wants to be like, we don't know who's starting. It's Richardson starting. But again, like, the boom is ridiculous, but the bust is also really really bad too.
Right. Stroud's going to land in that streamer category for us. He may earn himself back into the fringe this year. We're going to have to see how this offensive hangs, but like right now, probably
we're not
streamer.
sure what the O line looks like. We're not. I mean, Christian Kirk's a really good wide receiver too, but like, I just don't know what this offense. Are they going to keep wanting to try to run the ball? We just don't know.
Yeah. And then with it, where it lies, we've got Penix, Geno, McCarthy all sitting here at streamers. A lot of question marks with these guys, so they've got room to move up a little bit. They also have room down if they want to hang out with Rodgers in the trash quarterback section.
Yes, I agree.
All right, folks. That's
There's
our
a couple of
quarterbacks.
starters in there, man. You got to put Derek Carr in the dumpster fire. Yeah. You can just put the rest of all those in the trash, honestly, probably at that point.
They don't even deserve to be up there.
Yeah. But Carr is
it.
legitimately QB1 for the Saints. There's no threat to him, so.
Awesome. Well, that does wrap up our quarterback rankings and tiers there. If you want to check them out, if you're on the YouTube or the Spotify, there it is for you. Otherwise, I'll go over it real quick. QB1s, we've got Daniels, Jackson, Allen, and Hurts, and Burrow. QB1, we've got Mayfield, Holmes, Nix, Murray, Fields, and Goff. Our fringe guys, we've got Caleb. We've got Love, Herbert, Purdy, Prescott, Tua, and T-Law. And then the streamers, we've got May, Young, Stafford, Darnold, Richardson, Stroud, Penix, Smith, and McCarthy. Come into the comments if you want to know deeper than that, and we'll talk that. Well, folks, we got to wrap it up, put a bow on it, put it to bed. This guy's hungry. I can tell. We got to get him fed.
I'm starving. I'm fat, so
We're gonna get out of here. If you're looking for me, it's at @too_much_Brian on Twitter, at @too_much_Brian everywhere else. Make sure you're looking for us on Spotify, YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, leaving a review, subscribing. It helps us rock and roll. Brennan, tell the people where can they find you.
I am at Too Much BMilk on X, and then I'm in the Fantasy Football Advice Network as well still. Some my Facebook, some other places, so.
Really, you can't not find us, folks. You just look for Too Much, you find these two. That's it. That's plain and simple. But until then, we got to get out of here. We'll talk to y'all and see y'all later.